All right, it's 5:30. Let's call this meeting to order. Marnie, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Steve Friedman.
Present.
Councilmember Deb Gillis. Here. Councilmember Anna Richards.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sharon Mahoney.
Here.
And Mayor Don Horton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Joe Wishmeyer, will you please lead us in the pledge?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tony, would you please give us an invocation tonight, please? To start off the new year the right way.
I would be honored. And
Thank you.
Happy New Year and happy 2026. So let's bow together and just ask God's blessing over this. Heavenly Father, we ask you for guidance as we navigate and make decisions throughout this year. May this be a great year, 2026, for the Village of the Islands. Please help this council make good, lasting, wise decisions that will benefit this community now and in decades to come. We beg you to bring blessings to this village as we ask you to give us a spirit of unity and participation and fellowship and cooperation between all of our citizens and the council. Be with the staff, be with the council, bless them and protect them throughout this year. And we ask all these things in your precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Tony. Are there any requests for deletions or emergency deletions tonight? Additions? Sharon?
I have a couple
Okay.
that I'll do in mayor council communication.
Okay. Anna? No. Yes? I'm sorry, what? Yes, yeah, we should do that. I want to get this done, and then I'll move on to that. Anybody over there? No? Okay. I just want to add a presentation from our lobbyist firm, Kate. I'll add that to 4B because she's not on the agenda. I'd also like to have a moment of silence both for Dave Prideaux and for Bob Johnson, both past council members who served this village well, and we're thankful for their service. So we can have just a moment of silence for both of our past council members. I'd appreciate that. All right, thank you. So let's move on to reports and presentations. I think we have one from Aaron from the Aqueduct, right? Fantastic.
Yes.
Welcome
Good
back
evening.
to work.
Thank you. So I want to just thank the council and the mayor for bringing me here to provide another update. We had a good 2025 installing the transmission main. We stopped, for the holiday break, just a little bit short of our goal of reaching the connection point there at the marina on this side of Tavernier Creek Bridge. There was a lot of difficulties in the plantation, in the Bessie intersection with, utilities that we had to work through as well as groundwater conditions. So our original goal was to get through that intersection and complete the connection before the holiday. However, we fell just a little bit short of that. So we wrapped everything up, got the intersection back open before the holidays, and I'm going to give you a quick update. I'm going to try to go to this map, though. I don't want to take everybody through every slide we've already seen several times. Am I hitting the wrong button? There it goes. I'm going to go to the next map. Okay. So right here on this map, you can see we're approximately at the Bessie intersection. We're about 200 foot north with our pipeline, with our end of pipe. We made sure that when we started back to work on Sunday night, that we had left the pipe far enough north so that by Monday morning we could open up the Bessie intersection fully. Now, there's still a transition needed to get traffic over where our pipe is currently located, which is about 200 feet north of that intersection. But the intersection is fully open. School buses can cross from one side to the other, which was a big part of what we had been coordinating with schools and law enforcement. We are continuing to keep Monroe County Sheriff's Office presence there on both sides of the intersection. It is our goal this week that we can get paved enough, probably a couple hundred feet north of that intersection, where we would be able to move the traffic control and the MOT further so that there will be no impacts to that intersection, hopefully by the end of this week. So if that's the case and we get that done, which we're moving up a little bit in elevation, which is helping us. Also, we've gotten clear of some of the utilities that were in the intersection. By the end of next week, it's our target that we would reach the connection point right where that big box is at the end. There's a circle there. That's where we're looking to try to connect to that already installed HDPE, the big black pipe. We need to connect to that there to be done and be out of what we're calling the school zone. And we're hoping for the end of next week to reach that goal. And then when we do so, just to give you guys an update on where we go from there, we'll be moving to the north side of Tavernier Creek Bridge. We'll pick up and we're going to go from there all the way up to Julep Road. The next key intersection obviously is Ocean Boulevard there. We've already started coordination efforts with the shopping plaza, with the Baptist Hospital, and we have a meeting scheduled for next week with DOT and some of the key players, Captain Spencer Bryan, to navigate our traffic control at that intersection and keep the hospital flowing and everything like that. But the good news is, hopefully by the end of next week, we're going to be out of this current zone and traffic pattern and everything should be back for the most part to normal. So that's my update for tonight. Any questions?
Is there any questions for anyone? When you get over to that Ocean Boulevard and past Tavernier Town, will y'all be working in the middle of the highway again, or? So
Yeah.
you're going to have to do a highway cross where you did the HDPE underneath the bridge? You're going to have to cross the highway?
The pipe is pretty much going to stay where it's currently at. I know we've got some curvature where we're at now, but it's pretty much in the northbound lane. So it's going to stay that way all the way up to Julep Road. So we won't have to cross over to the hospital side or the southbound side, but there'll still be some impacts there just because, we got to move keep open one lane. But we don't foresee major impacts like what we had over here on this side.
Well, I think you guys are doing an awesome job. I think it's applause from this council and the village, everybody in here, the work that you're doing and how you're controlling the traffic at the same time, all the amount of work you're getting done. So we're thankful for what you're doing, Aaron. Thank you.
Right. We appreciate everybody's patience and support, and especially the council and the village for helping us so much. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Have a good night. Happy New Year. So let's see, if we could have a report from Kate Deloche. One of the things that we haven't stayed on top of, I think, is our lobbyists, and I know that that's been a bone of contention. We finally have a local representative that's working with our lobbyist firm, and Kate is going to give us a presentation tonight. I think she's brought a second part of our dream team, too, so I'll let you bring that on everybody.
Good evening, everyone. As Don said, I'm half of your great lobby team up in Tallahassee. So I work with Southern and your Gray Robinson team up in Tallahassee. And we are expanding Southern Group down here in the Keys. So I did bring with me Aaron Muir, who's going to be helping and is going to be the second person in the Keys office. So if you're not hearing from me from Southern Group, you'll be hearing from Aaron. I don't have too much of a formal presentation. It's really more just a couple of updates. We are getting ready to head back to Tallahassee next week. I think we head up on Sunday. So just a few dates to keep in mind. The first day of session will be Tuesday, the 13th. Members face a deadline of tomorrow to have all of their bill drafts in final form. So anything that's going to be filed has to be in its final form by tomorrow, and it has to be filed by Friday. That is also the last day to file any appropriation project requests. Don't worry, the village's requests are all in. All attestation forms are submitted. Your team has been awesome to work with in getting those in the proper posture to get ready for session. Other than that, we'll kick off the 60-day session, which I think we're all hoping is a little closer to 60 days than the 105 that it was last year. But we are moving forward with positivity. A few big issues that are going to be on the agenda that aren't, appropriation projects for the village, but are definitely going to suck a lot of the air out of the room. The biggest one, obviously, is property taxes. There are a multitude of proposals in the House. Most of them, all I believe but one, have started to move forward. Some of them have gained a little bit of traction. Actually, one of them filed by Rep. Busada, formerly Demi, who was Senator Ana Terry Flores' former aide way back in the day. She has a bill that would create an additional exemption for homeowners who have a multi-peril insurance policy. And that one has actually moved through 2 committees so far. So a lot of talk about property taxes. The Senate has still not weighed in on their position on property taxes this session. Obviously, the governor's been very vocal, but we expect that issue to take up a lot of time and attention. The other big one I know we were watching were for, potential tweaks to some of the legislation that was passed last year. There is not a House bill filed, but there has been a Senate bill filed, so we'll be starting our session communications next week, and we'll make sure we get everyone that language to look at as things start to move forward. But
Are you referencing the 180? Is that?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes, sir. So no House companion yet. No, nothing is really moving. It's been a really slow start to session this year, but we expect next week things will start to pick up. So by Monday, we'll know everything that's going to be filed.
Fantastic.
And then the last thing I have is just Florida Keys Day. I know we've talked about that a lot up here, but the welcome reception will be February 4th, and then the big party on Thursday, February 5th. We will obviously work, myself and the other half of your lobby team, Gray Robinson, and we'll make sure that we work on a schedule that addresses some of the issues that you guys have with different agencies that you might want to meet with, as well as the formal Florida Keys Day schedule. So wish us luck, and let me know if you guys have any questions.
Thank you, Aaron. Anybody else got any questions for Aaron or anything? I'd like to, Ron, did you have something you want to say? I just wanted to mention that Ron and I have been talking to Southern Group and Gray Robinson, and are going to try something that's never been done in the village before. Is we'd like to start having a weekly meeting during session with our lobbyist firm. We'd like to have a Zoom meeting, preferably on Friday towards the end of the week, and open the Zoom meeting up to the public for Kate, somebody either there or at Gray Robinson or with Southern Group, to just kind of give a recap of how the week went. Not open necessarily for discussion, Q&As, although you can put in your comments, you can type them in, and if Kate has time during those meetings, she'll be able to answer some of those questions. Maybe not all, but it's not a kind of a give and take, but a recap of how it's going during that week. And as we go through this 60-day legislative session, I think it's exciting to be able to stay on top of that, and I'm thankful that we've got Kate now, somebody here local, and certainly Aaron joining the team. I call it a dream team, because it's fantastic that you guys are going to be here and you're local and you understand our problems much better than those folks up north of us. So we're looking forward to that, and Ron will put out the schedule in his weekly meeting, and anybody that wants to join can join on that. So we're thankful for that.
Well, thank you. It definitely takes knowing both the local issues and Tallahassee, and so I think you've got a really good team to do that. I definitely do recommend Fridays for any catch-up calls. We do that with some of our other clients as well, and things do move very quickly. So we're always available to work with you and your team on how to improve communication during session.
Great, thank you. Deb, you had something?
Yeah, I just want to be so thankful that you girls are on board, and it's welcome. It's a good face to see. But you guys have done a great job, and having you locally, I think, will be a big difference in how we can get things communicated better. We were getting things done before, but it was just very awkward, time-consuming, whatever. Having you locally and you knowing the issues going on both sides is just wonderful. Thank you.
We work well together. I'm
deal.
excited for this session. So.
Ron, did you have something?
Yeah, I just want to confirm, I spoke with Ryan Matthews, who's with the other firm, Gray Robinson, and he is on board with this. I said it's going to be every Friday afternoon. We'll publish the numbers in advance so the public can participate, because there'll be a public meeting. Since we want all the council to be able to talk, it needs to be a publicly noticed meeting. And basically say, here's what happened this week, here's what's planned for next week. Because to have them come every month, we're going to have 2 meetings during session.
Exactly.
So that's why we wanted it weekly, because so much happens between our meetings that we want to have a weekly update. And so we'll try to stay on top of things. If any of you have a particular bill or issue you want us to focus on, obviously Senate Bill 180 is one of yours. We want to make sure we address those. So that's number one. Number two, as Kate mentioned, Florida Keys Days is not that far away. It's next month. My thought was we definitely want to meet with legislative leadership, the Senate President, Speaker of the House, et cetera, but also with agencies. We're having some issues with Department of Commerce, DOP, DEP, and so we also want to set up some side meetings with agencies. So once again, if you have any particular issues that you want to brought up, let us know so we can kind of brief our lobbying team, and then when we go in there, we have a script, we have a message, opposed to just saying hello. We like to come in and say, here's some issues we want to talk to you about that specifically deal with Islamorada, because everybody in the Keys will be up there for Keys Days. And so we want to kind of focus in on Islamorada specific issues as opposed to overall property taxes or things like that, which everybody's going to be talking about. So anything you have in particular, please let us know in advance so we can make sure those meetings are scheduled.
Yeah,
That'll
and that
help
script
us.
is going to be very important so that we go in there armed and ready to have a discussion with them about our needs of Islamorada. Yeah, Kate?
And that'll help us get you to the right folks during Florida Keys Day too. So rather than just, it's one thing to say we want to meet with FDOT, but if we know what specific issues are, we can get you with the right head of that particular department and not,
Okay,
waste
thank
everybody's
you.
time.
Deb, you had another
In
comment?
relationship to those meetings, yes, in the past years, when I was up there and we attended, it was really, when we walked into an office and we had 6 people, they go, excuse me, we have to pull some more chairs in. But it made an impression on them, and if we all were on the same page and had that script, that we each could participate in some small way, they could tell we were on the same page, and
Yes.
it helps.
Yes.
It helps.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anything else? Katie, thank you so very much. We're
Thank
looking
you so
forward to
much.
working with you this session.
Bring your coats. It's going to be a cold session. Thank you.
In many ways, huh? We just don't want the cold shoulder. That's right. Okay, let's see. Let's move on. Citizen Advisory Committee reports. I don't think we have any reports from anyone tonight, do we?
We do not. Mr. Dolly was going to give the presentation for land acquisition, but he's unable to attend tonight, so we moved that to next month. And all we have on there today is an appointment to the Workforce Affordable Housing Committee.
So Frank Derfler has put in an application to fulfill the vacant seat, and I think that council just needs to approve that. I think we should have a motion, yes.
I'll make a motion to appoint Frank to the Workforce Affordable Housing Committee.
Okay, we have a motion on the table.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Is there any opposition or discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to say the motion passes. I don't think we need to call roll on something that simple.
It should pass it by unanimous consent.
Passed by unanimous consent. Very good. Mayor and council communications. Sharon, you had something?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
First, thank you to this community for being so generous for our toy drive. My good friend Terry and all his little elves, we collected, it must have been 1,000 toys, and I got to play with all of them. And we were able not only to satisfy all the needs in Islamorada, we sent 8 bags up to Key Largo, and then we had more come in, and so I spent the days before Christmas with toys all over my store, giving them to people who needed them. So a big thank you to this community. It really is heartwarming to see the love and the really cool toys, I'm telling you, that we got. Secondly, I'd like to remind everybody that the 18th of January from 3:30 to 5:30 is the dedication of the dog park for Mangrove Mike. I would love to have as many people as possible come out. We have the Italian Food Company doing pizzas. We've got, hopefully Dave Fader and I have had communications where he is going to hopefully play some music in the background. And today I talked to Michelle, who is the owner of Mangrove Mike's Dogs, and it looks like they're going to come. So it's going to be a 2-hour event. I would love to see as many people come out. We have a bench in the shape of a dog bone that is going in one side of the park, and then we have a piece of granite with a bronze plaque going on the other side. So bring your dogs. I even got some organic dog treats to give out. So it should be a good time. And again, I think it's long overdue to recognize what he did for this community.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank everybody for being so generous and donating to the funds where I'm able to give Tony money for pizza. So I'm happy about that.
Sharon, didn't you want people to also bring a canned good or
Oh,
something?
that's right. The United Way is going to be here with a trailer that says "Be Like Mike," and so we're asking for non-perishable food items to be put in the trailer to fill that during the time that we're doing the ceremony as well. So if you could do that, that would be great. So thank you.
What else you got?
And that's not just dog food, it's.
Oh, no, it's not dog
people-
food at all.
I didn't think so. I just, since we were talking everything else dog, I just wanted to make sure it's
for the
clear.
food pantries. That's funny.
We'll celebrate the dogs and feed the people.
Yes,
Okay.
it's for the food pantries.
Very good.
I want to briefly touch on to make sure our staff has done the RFPs or Qs for the Machado property as well as the ride share, if we can get them out. Have we done that? Go ahead.
Yes, staff is working on the RFP for Machado. We're going to be looking for proposals, and so Jennifer and Sheila have been assigned to do the RFP, and so we should be getting that out next week. It does have to come to council. We can just issue it. I've already been in contact with some people calling me with some ideas. I said, just put it in writing, submit it when we do the RFP. There is some interest in putting affordable housing there. Also, the parking application, we want to do that one too, and the other one, what was it? The second one you talked about?
Ride share.
A rideshare. That's an item that's up to, you're talking about the freebie? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking at that, and I think the thing that we're looking at that is the rates. If we want to charge, number one, which I think the consensus is yes, and then number two, how do you charge and how do you give a benefit to residents, for example? So we're trying to work on the details. We've asked for examples of other areas, and also, obviously, there's an expiration for freebies, so we have to consider, do we want to go through that whole process again when that contract comes up? We don't want to wait till the very end and just do that. So we're in discussion with them also as far as how to
Well,
proceed.
my point was to open it up to other companies as well, to see who would offer us the best deal or maybe other options that we could do. So I'm not just saying we're going to renew it with the company we have. I wanted to open it up for others if that's agreeable.
I think the expiration is, I think Kate might know, was it June or something? It's not anytime soon, but obviously we want to get ahead of the curve. So I think June would be the expiration. So if we're going to go out to reopen it, we'd probably want to do it maybe in the next couple of months.
That's why I brought it up.
Yes.
And finally, I'd like to have the council have a discussion down the road about green turtle hammock, about letting, besides, I know your plan is to have offices for some of our employees. I'd like to not lose the ability to have 501c3s in there. And it would be too hard, the way you mentioned it the first time we talked about giving them a month each. Why don't we put someone in charge of, if the 501c3 wants to utilize the property, we have somebody who, we could fit several 501s in there. And I don't want to see Florida Bay Forever ousted from there, and I hear they're gonna be. So I guess I'm speaking up tonight saying, don't do that. So.
Ron?
Yeah, I got some contact with some of the board members of Florida Bay Forever, and one of them said, why are you kicking them out? I said, I'm not kicking anybody out. Their lease expires in March. And the question is, how do you want to proceed? I think Jody's here from Florida Bay Forever. I'm planning on going tomorrow. They have a board meeting over at Green Turtle. I'm planning on going. I know that the council's been invited. And so we're open to it. It's just the question was, do you want to have one organization have exclusive use of the Russell House, or do you want to open up to others? I'm not sure who else is interested, but that we want to talk about it now before the lease expires. So they're there till March. Nothing's happening between now and then, and we don't want to take the whole thing over. We're talking, I think I've talked to each of you individually, that we're open to having, maybe alternating if that's the case. If nobody else wants it but Florida Bay Forever, then it's Florida Bay Forever. But if other organizations are interested, we want to hear, well, what do you propose? What do you need to, what kind of use do you want of it? No decision, at least from my side, has been made. And so I heard it was a done deal. I go, well, I don't know of any done deal.
And so I think we're open to the council's input on what do you want to do with it. I mean, we're making some improvements. One of the things on the agenda tonight, for example, there's a dilapidated old classroom building.
Right.
We're going to hopefully take that down. We've got Public Works out of there for the most part. We've cleaned it up. Peter Frez has done a great job of managing the property. We want to improve it. We're going to schedule of how the public can participate. We're going to have a fee schedule, for example, and we're still going through the details. Jennifer's been a stickler for following the rules, and so we want to make sure that people use it, get a temporary use permit, etc. So we're working out the details, but we think it's a jewel. We want the public to more fully enjoy it, but we want to do it the right way.
So why don't we advertise this and put it on the agenda and have a discussion?
Yeah.
And have some more facts in front of us?
Yeah,
to be
for the
able to
February
have
meeting.
that discussion so that we can give staff direction on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the latest was, the lease expires in March. Other organizations apparently haven't talked to me, but the staff have said they're interested. And we've said, give us the details how you want to do it. Florida Bay Forever, from what I can tell, has done a great job while they're there. And the question is, do we want to open it up? Do you want to open it up or not? And that's what we're waiting to hear.
I think we can figure that out during a discussion. I think. Thank you for bringing that up,
But we
Sharon. What
also
else?
have to, with nothing, we just have to get it out there because there are
Yeah.
a lot of 501c3s and there's no reason why it can't be shared.
Right.
Instead of doing a rotation thing, which would be too much, I think. And maybe there could be somebody on our staff they could reach out to and say, we'd like to use it for a kayak thing or just something. So I just want to keep that door open that, it's a great area, it's beautiful, and Florida Bay has done a wonderful job and they should stay there, but it also should be the ability for us to open the door to other charities who want to utilize it. So I just want to make sure it's there.
Thank you, Sharon.
So similar to that, I think the rotation of 501c, I know we can talk about this next month or whatever, but that would be a lot for people to rotate in and out. I mean, maybe we can figure out how to get several in there or not, or a lottery on who does get it or something. But as you said, their lease isn't up till March. March isn't that far away. I think we need to have a plan in place that we can extend their lease by, 3 months, so we can figure it out. We don't want to kick them out. And if we get to March, we either need to sign a lease or not sign a lease or something. We need to have something worked on. We've only got, if you don't count March, we got one more meeting before then, so
Thank you, Dan.
something needs to be happened before
Okay.
then.
Steve?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for bringing it up, Vice Mayor. I agree with you. I believe that Florida Bay Forever has approached us with some possible solutions for some of those things that you said, where they could sort of be the steward of the area, welcome in any 501c3s whenever they want to come in. I don't know if Jody wants to come up and talk about that now or wait until the next one, but I think we do have a resolution that's been proposed that I think could be agreeable.
Why don't we let Jody come up during public comment, and then I think she signed up anyway, and then when we go on and advertise this and put it on the agenda, then we can have a really good in-depth discussion about that. Is that okay with you guys? Okay? All right. Anybody else have anything on mayor and council communication? Two things I wanted, Steve, please.
Just one other thing. I think we're going to get into it here with the update and after action reports. But I would like to see us schedule another meeting, maybe another workshop regarding the village-owned properties. I think we had a successful one going around, and while there may be some things that are going on, I think it's important for the public to participate in that and know exactly where we're at and what the thoughts are, so that there's plenty of input there. So I would like to see us kind of note that and either create another workshop or another agenda item where we can discuss that in the public.
All right, let's see, one of the things I said when I was over on the vice mayor's seat was I'd like to recognize our staff each month at the beginning of the month or the first meeting that we have as far as birthdays, and not a lot of people in our staff is January birthdays, but we do have Ron Jacobs and Megan Rumbaugh, Brock Berry, Christian Owens, Robert Mather, Deb has got a birthday in January, Andres, and Lindsay Bambino. So those are our January birthdays. Let's see, we also had a special day today. Our sheriff had his annual inspection of our sheriffs that work for us. And I think we got a photo so that our community knows who all of the people that work for us and keep us safe. And so I took this photo earlier today when they were all lined up. And these are the folks that roam our streets, do what need to be done to keep this community safe. And I think that we owe them a debt of gratitude and an applause to these people that work for us in Alamorada. So thank you. That's all I have. So, Village Attorney, do you have anything for us tonight?
Nope, nothing from me.
Okay, Ron?
A couple things. One is I've been questioned about the baseball license agreement. It was on the agenda last meeting in December. We were asked to kind of delay it and get input. I have gotten no input from the school district in the meantime. So the plan would be day after tomorrow, Thursday, we have a land use plan meeting, and I have it brought up again. Last chance for people to give me input. I think we've gotten quite a bit of public input, and we probably should start moving forward. There's some things we probably should clarify that have been brought to my attention about maintenance of the field, replacement of the field, et cetera. The other thing that I brought up last week was the termination date, which hopefully will never come up, but there's a 2-year versus 5-year discrepancy. So a couple things like that. I think we're very close to having an agreement. The other issue that has not been resolved is asked John to send a letter to the school district clarifying that we are the owner of the building at the end of the first base line. The school district hasn't necessarily agreed. And so that's one ongoing issue that we want to clarify, because I do think we own the building. And so we want to make sure, because they're making plans to put several $100,000 in that one building. And we'd like to know, that we own it before they proceed. So that's number one. If there's no objection, we'll bring it up Thursday. It's already been agended last year and last month. So I plan on bringing it up on Thursday, and if you want to approve it on Thursday, we will move forward. The second thing is the after action report or status report. I know the mayor and I have talked. We gave you a sample. We have a staff directors meeting every Tuesday morning, and I went around the table this morning, but they wanted some clarification about what you'd like to have on there. My understanding is that this is an example of something where the village council has taken an action and directed staff to do something. And this is to make sure that we are following up with your directions, not an individual member or whatever. This will be whatever the council has done, and then we will try to give you an update every meeting of where we are with things. And because sometimes things get on the back burner because other things come up. And so this was an example. We want to use this. Is this the right format that you want to see? And is this the right kind of way to present it? And if that's the case, next meeting we'll have a full status report, or whatever I call it, the actions and policies status report, open items. This won't be just things that have already been done. It's not necessarily a report card. It's more of, here's some future action that needs to be taken up to follow up what you've directed us to do. So if there's any input, we'd like to hear it.
Deb, you got your mic on?
Yes. I would step back to the baseball input first. Will we see that before Thursday's meeting? Are you going to get that emailed out to us or something?
Yeah, I'll have it tomorrow.
Okay.
I just want to get direction tonight that it's okay to do, because Thursday's usually land use, so that's kind of a land use decision, but I'd like to get it moving because baseball season starts in a couple of weeks.
But
Yeah,
you-
I think we need to. Go on,
Go
Deb.
ahead. I think we do need, but do you think you'll be able to get anything out of the school board before Thursday? Probably not, no.
Probably not.
No more than what we have currently.
Yeah, there'll be some discrepancies, but I think it's good for, at least we will have voted on something, because the school board has their version, and once we see how close we are, I think we can move forward. But for example, maintenance of the field, January started their time of maintenance. We're in January.
Yes.
And the baseball season, I talked to Tony Hammond, who's one of my experts on the field, and he's not convinced that field is ready to be in the shape that the school district promised us it would be in. So we want to stay on top of that.
Sure.
And obviously, I've also talked to school board members and said, before you make any decisions on the turf, assuming it is artificial turf, you should probably talk to us first, because we're going to insist on the highest quality turf that we can get there. Make sure there's proper drainage, the heat situation, the injuries, et cetera. We want to have input before you make a decision. And they understand that we are the owner of the property and that we're going to have final say sooner or later. Sooner is better than later.
Okay.
No, go.
Okay.
Something
I'm jumping to the action report.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's
You
fine.
ready?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so this format is fine. The previous time that they had it, they said it was a difficult format to maintain at staff level. I don't know what that difficulty is. Hopefully, this is overriding whatever that problem was. Visually, it looks very similar to what, but I don't have a copy in front of me of one of the really old ones, so. I want to keep it as simple as possible and yet sufficient enough to help us remember what we've talked about.
Thank you, Deb. I think part of the confusion that was in the past was staff was getting direction kind of from all over the place. And I think that we need to make sure that, as I did last week a couple of times to Ron, have you got clear direction? Do you know where you're headed? And as long as I think that we are talking, in 5 to Ron, then I think he can get those things done and have a clear message of what needs to get done. So we'll work with him on it and try to get it done that way.
I think it's a form in motion.
Correct. Yes. Good deal. Let's see. I guess we're going to open it up to public comment now. Marnie?
Okay, thank you. First up, we have Sue Miller.
Sue Miller, Lower Matacumbe. I want you to know you're very lucky tonight because I was planning to talk about the after-action report, and I am so happy to hear that it's back, so I don't have much else to say except that I hope that it is a success and that it will include on a regular basis the things like where we stand with the baseball field, where we stand with wastewater, where we stand with some of the studies that we have pending. And thank you very much for including that.
Thank you, Sue. Yeah, I think you'll see that action item grow, and we'll have plenty of stuff on there. Marnie?
Next up is Henry Rosenthal. Okay, then next up will be Joe Wishmeyer.
Joe, just for you, the other timer broke. So look what we've done for you.
I was going to comment on that.
I don't think any of us can miss it, but
I was going to say, there would be no doubt how much time we have
there
left
you
now.
go. That's exactly right.
Looking at the little buttons flashing and trying to go.
Oh, wait till you hear the buzzer.
Yes, Joe Wishmeyer, Plantation Key. Mayor and council, you did take away a lot of the stuff I was going to bring up as well, but I'm still going to mention a few of them. First, I would like to wish all of you a Happy New Year, and we hope that we have a very peaceful and we all get along real well. I was a little surprised that this meeting agenda had so little things on it to discuss. This is where I was going to talk about the after-action report that we used to get every month, and the last time it came out was like last May. And it was very helpful not only for us, but for you to see what actions were taken and where we stand on that. So I'm really happy to see that that's out. I wrote down I have some suggestions on things we could have talked about tonight, like the baseball field. I attended the school board meeting in December before I came over to this meeting. There was a lot of confusion. They were asking for a very quick decision on something, and I even mentioned it when in my public comment. I said, this has been going on for a long time, and we're not going to jump just because they need it. It's ours, okay? So if they drag their feet and they have to wait a little longer and maybe play on the field for another year, well, that's just so be it. Poor planning on their part does not constitute an emergency on our part, and I'm glad to see that we're taking our time in that. The other thing, we also had 2 groups that we hired to review our enterprise funds, mainly the wastewater. Now, I know that there is a lot of talk about EDUs and things like that, and I haven't seen much going on with that, but in reviewing some of this, I know that Key Largo Wastewater keeps track of their water usage, and they update their EDU counts almost on a monthly basis by keeping track of how much it is. And you know, it's funny, they use the same system that we have, and I think it's called AIMS. So if we're having trouble trying to update our EDUs so that we can make sure that things go more smoothly, maybe we need to call them. It doesn't sound like it would take much time on the computer, and maybe we should talk to them and maybe our IT technician to expedite that. Another one was going to be village-owned properties. I'm not going to talk about any of that because I'm running out of time. See, which is what came up next. I could go on, but I would run out of time. One thing that I would like to say, I do see more people here tonight, and I hope we can continue getting more public. So those who are listening, come and join us. And if you just give me 10 more seconds, because I just did just want to have a standout. This is for Dave Perdue. This is for Dave Perdue and Bob Johnson, okay? I just wanted to make sure that we all remembered them. They were very, very helpful and served our community well. Thank you.
Yes, Jody Sarah would like to speak.
Hello, I'm Jody Sarah with Florida Bay Forever. Just to go on what you were saying, I'm sorry.
Henry, if you don't mind, will you take your call outside so that we're above it?
Take the call outside.
Thank you.
I just briefly wanted to speak about a green turtle hammock. One thing that I think is confusing is that we are stewards of the property, and I appreciate your comments. I think we have done a very good job as well, but it is very nice to hear that, and that validation we appreciate. We are specifically in charge of the cottage, the Russell Cottage. That property is still maintained by the village, and it's that collaboration that I think makes it work so well. Pete has done a great job. Other things, we have been able to put up signs and do a lot of things for the property outside of the cottage, but it's the cottage specifically that's in question, and what to do with that space. And that's what we are currently in. And we already share with other nonprofits and very much invite them to be part of it. And not because they reached out to us asking, because I reached out to them. I said, come, let's get collaborations going. Let's get stuff going, because that's what's best for Florida Bay. Thank you.
There's no one else to speak, unless Henry would like to. Did you want to talk, Henry?
Yes, I guess. Yes, I want to speak to tab 4. Thank you anyway.
Tab 4 is on consent, so if he wants to speak to that. Yeah.
Henry, so there won't be any discussion on consent. Would you like to talk about it now?
No, we'll have public comment on consent. I just wanted to make sure he was aware as to when it was going to be called.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry for that, Mayor.
That's fine. You're good. Okay. No one else, Marnie?
No, sir.
Okay. John, we're moving on to consent?
Yep, we're into the consent portion of the agenda. These items are of a routine nature, and council members have reviewed these items in advance and sought the advice of staff as they felt necessary. There'll be one vote on the consent items today, which are items 2 through 7. If anyone would like to pull an item from consent, he or she should state so now.
Anyone?
I'd like
Sharon?
to hear what Henry has to say
Okay.
about tab 4, so.
No one wants to pull anything? Henry, did you want to speak about tab 4?
I guess I will.
Okay, that'd be great. That's fine.
Okay, thank you. I'm Henry Rosenthal, a longtime resident of Islamorada and Monroe County. The question is, what are you going to do with a property that I owned for 25 years plus? What I saw you do
is tear down my old house and build something for $1.8 million, which I strongly object to after the fact. I don't expect anything to happen now. But what you did is an abortion, if I could use that word. And now we're going to deal with the house that was once up by the highway. The previous owner was a contractor. Tom Fouts was in the real estate business, and his wife. And his father-in-law was the contractor, and that house was up by the highway. And that was moved. And now I understand there's some talk about demolishing that house. You know, before you do these things, you should look at the past history of that property. You probably don't know that the front house was moved there from where the post office was, or is. You're referring to it as the Russell property, and quite frankly, that's kind of new to me, but maybe it was a Russell property. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, the federal government moved into that property. In the middle of the night, in I believe 60 or 61, they went in and out of that property to Cuba with a missile crisis. Do you know that? You probably don't. They also gave Tom Fouts $10,000 to reconstruct the waterfront, which he never spent, which I did. Because you lacked fixing the roof of the old house, and I'm not speaking of you personally or this group, but you lacked fixing the roof, which created a situation now of mold, which seems to give you the opportunity to tear it down. All these things have contributed to this town and the history behind it. I understand I'm out of time. If I could have another...
I gave Joe 10 seconds, so take your 10 seconds.
I will take my 10 seconds. Thank you. One at a time. Anyway, it's just, I had to speak and say something about it. And just be aware of what you're doing when you're doing it. You could reconstruct that house. I don't know how many times you put it out for bid, and in the past, putting things out for bid is not the preferable way to go. Not only your council, but my council as well that I sat on.
Thank you, Henry.
So I just have to say those things, and that's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion to accept the...
Mayor, we have more public comment.
Oh, there's more comment?
Yes. Sue Miller would like to speak.
Sue?
Thank you, I appreciate it. No problem.
Sue Miller, Lower Matacumbe. On the consent agenda is the Green Turtle Hammock Preserve, with an emphasis on preserve. And it breaks my heart to think that we're not preserving the Green Turtle Hammock like we should. We're going to bulldoze a part of the property, and I read from the staff report, the contractor's opinion was that demolition would be the best alternative unless there was a well-intended use of the building to make such an investment in renovation, which there is not. I contend there is a reason to save that building. We've had this discussion tonight about not-for-profits that have uses for the Green Turtle Hammock structures. We heard that the Florida Bay Forever might share the Green Turtle property. That's a perfect place. according to the staff report, it's 1,500 square feet. I contend it's not anywhere close to 1,500 square feet, but I think it's probably closer to 1,000 square feet. It's absolutely a wonderful place for a classroom or for any other use for a not-for-profit. I think that Florida Bay Forever was hired because it's required in our management plan to have someone that is doing exactly what Florida Bay Forever is doing. And just bringing in not-for-profits doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do what Florida Bay Forever has been doing for the last, I believe, 5 years. And so I'm all in favor of keeping Florida Bay Forever there, managing the Russell House and inviting people to come and share opportunities at the facility. It's an amazing property, but when I think of the word preserve and conservation and a phenomenal hammock that Public Works cut through hammocks, it cost me a lot of money to cut down one mahogany tree. And then I look at these huge sections of that gorgeous hammock that were destroyed by our village. And now I know that you're trying to correct the problems of the past, and I hope you continue, because it's really a shame what has happened to that property, and I hope that it improves dramatically in coming years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sue.
Ms. Mayor, can we get some clarification from Pete on exactly what's going on there?
I think we should, yes. Pete, have you got a minute to talk to us about?
Can we just pull that item and
I
do
was going
that
to pull it
then-
and see if there's other options. Maybe
wanna
we
do
should
that?
look into other options
Well,
for it.
just pull it out of consent.
Yeah, I
at
agree.
least.
Why don't we pull that out of consent? We'll open this up for another discussion at another meeting. I'm fine with that, and we've got,
Well,
yeah.
I could see us talking about it tonight even, but just let's finish
Okay,
consent and
let's
then.
finish consent.
talk
And
about
then,
that.
let's finish consent, we'll pull that item for further discussion. Is there a motion to approve consent by pulling this item?
I'll make the motion to approve consent minus tab 4.
Thank you.
I'll
Is there a
second it.
There's a second. Is there any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous, we'll pass that. And do we want to go on and continue on with the discussion on that one pulled item?
Yeah, I'll read the title for tab 4 and then
Let's
we
do
can
that.
continue that. So
Okay.
Tab 4 is a resolution of the Village Council of Isla Marta Village of Islands, Florida, approving work authorization number 1 with CBT Construction Development, Inc. for Green Turtle Hammock Preserve Classroom Demolition Services, authorizing village officials to implement the terms and conditions of work authorization number 1, authorizing village manager to expend budget funds, authorizing village manager to execute the project agreement for work authorization number 1, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Peter, will you lead us off here? Let's talk about what happened. As I recall, this council didn't approve the construction of the big thing out there. That was done in
It was the last council.
previous council.
Because Henry and I voted against it.
You did? Okay, very good. Okay. Peter, help us out understanding what's
Sure.
going
So
on.
good evening, council. Thanks for the opportunity to clarify. So first off, we are not demolishing the house or Russell Cottage. Absolutely not. That's not what's being considered here. What we are proposing to demolish is what we call the classroom or laboratory building. It's a very aging structure, no historical significance, wood framing, drywall. There was roof damage from a hurricane. It was Irma. We did repair the roof. Although it's been molding, rotting, getting older, dilapidating year by year by year, it is not usable now. We've collaborated with Florida Bay Forever, talked to Jody about it at length, discussed it with AJ, Public Works, discussed it with CBT. We had AAA restoration in there 3 times dealing with the mold. It's not usable. You can't even walk in there without like gagging from the mold smell. So the options are, should we renovate? We looked into a cost of renovating it, keeping it as a classroom. Not really feasible. To demolish and rebuild the classroom as is would be almost less than than just the cost of than demolishing. So it really that doesn't make sense to try and rebuild that structure. So it's sitting there taking up space, wasting energy. We want to use that space. So we have some ideas about what to do with it. We'd like to work with the other not-for-profits that we hope will be using the property to see what we can use it for, maybe just like a tiki hut, maybe plant trees. Maybe we don't even need a building there. But right now, it's taking up space, wasting energy. We felt the best option was to demolish it, start over. We got an estimate from CBT. They're in our library. We think it's a very fair estimate. They've been over there and looked at it, agree. This is a reasonable approach. So we do want to take action to preserve the green turtle hammock, and we have been taking action to plant trees. We work very hard, myself, AJ, Public Works Department, to do everything we can to keep that property as pristine as possible. We treat the invasive species on a bi-monthly basis. We inspect it for invasive animals. I think it's a phenomenal property, and with the construction of the pavilion, the options are really endless for what we can do there, and especially with the waterfront there too. So we want to take action. We want to preserve it. That classroom building is doing nothing right now. You cannot use it. So demolition is the best option. That's what we have in this agenda item, and we are looking for approval of the agreement with CBT tonight.
Deb?
I thought I read in it, I'm not finding it quickly, that the building was actually a 1955 building. Is that correct?
We believe that's when it was constructed.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that building was in its current
Part of
place.
the
Maybe
original?
Henry can let us know. When he was living there, there's been some misinformation on how it got there. It may have been constructed right there. It may have been moved, partially moved there, and then it was renovated by a previous user of the Green Turtle. We had a historical investigation on no historical value at all to that property, that building.
Deb, anything else?
Yeah, so the other half of the question is, you touched on it, so you have ideas what to do with that square footage, and I don't mean building-wise, I mean ground-wise, of whether or not you want to, whether we could maybe just replant it all as trees, or whether we need a shade pavilion, although there's plenty of trees there.
Right.
But we're just not tearing it down just to tear. We have plans. At the least, we'll plant trees where it was, at the least.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what we kind of felt was, since it's useless right now, let's demolish it while we can and see how the property evolves over time, over these next few years, and then we'll plan for the appropriate use of it.
Okay.
If it turns out we do need a classroom building, we'll budget for a new classroom building. Maybe that is needed. With the building of the pavilion, though, we may not need to use that space anymore for classroom or educational reasons. That may already be taken care of through the Russell Cottage and the pavilion.
Thank you. Steve, you had something?
Yeah, just kind of to repeat. So what I'm hearing and what I'm reading is we have basically an unsalvageable building. The best thing to do at this point, because it's only going to get more expensive to do so in the future, is to take it down, with the possibility of either rebuilding it to modern standards or doing something else, which is what we have the privilege of maybe deciding in the future, that no hammock will be destroyed during this process. That is simply the best course of action for that one particular building on that property at this time.
That's exactly correct. Thank you.
Good way to put it, Steve. Thank you. Anna, you have something?
No, I
Your
just...
mic's on.
No, well, sorry. I was just going to say, number one is safety. It's not safe for anybody to even be in it with all the mold and everything like
Correct.
that. That's number one concern. Number two would be money. It's going to cost us double to fix it than to take it down, and we can use the pavilion for classroom things and other things like that. We don't need to use it. I understand it's got historical knowledge and memories for Henry, but at some point, it's not safe for anybody else to be in that building at this time.
Thank you. Sharon, you got anything? I would say I've worked through the years with AAA Restoration, and they're not going to claim something as not repairable without being not repairable. I've gone in at some renovation jobs that looked pretty bad when we figured out how we could fix that. But a building of that age, once it reaches that point, is really difficult to get in there, especially a wood frame structure like that. So, is there anything else from you, Peter?
No,
Nope.
that is all, yeah.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
do I have a motion on tab 4?
Motion to approve.
I'll
Okay.
second.
I got a motion and a second. Marnie, I'd like to call the roll on that one.
Councilmember Anna Richards?
Yes.
Councilmember Deb Gillis?
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Friedman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sharon Mahoney?
Yes.
And Mayor Don Horton.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, let's move on to resolutions.
Yep. Tab 8 is a resolution of the Village Council of Islamorada Village, Violence, Florida, reiterating its longstanding opposition to the inclusion of new offshore oil and gas leasing off the coast of Florida and the 5-year National Outer Continental Shelf Oil and Gas Leasing Program.
Very good, thank you. I asked this item to be brought onto the agenda. I just think it's of the utmost important that we get on board with all of the other local municipalities and with the county and send a clear message to all that are involved that we absolutely do not want to risk anything that happens around the Florida Keys, especially offshore of us, and we worry about us and having any offshore drilling in there. So I think we want to open this up to public comment. Marnie?
First up would be Barry Ray.
Thank you.
Barry Ray, Executive Director for the Florida Keys Environmental Coalition, and also primary author of this resolution. This is a moment of celebration, all right? This is unity throughout the county. And when I say unity throughout the county, you're going to be part of every single elected official in this county voting in unison for this resolution to protect the Florida Keys. I've only seen it happen once before, and that was in 2010 after the oil spill in the Gulf, voting that Florida Keys Environmental Coalition would represent the ecosystems to the different municipalities in this county. It's the only other time I've ever seen this. It's wonderful. And this show of unity is so important. This morning, Key West passed this. Unfortunately, they put it on the consent agenda and I couldn't talk. So thank you guys for allowing me this latitude to be able to come up and express what this really means. It's more than just the oil drilling threat. Yes, we don't need that threat specifically. Next week, I expect Marathon to pass this. It's on their agenda as well. And, you know, every group that's looked at this did it with enthusiasm, ourselves included. So it is clear how we all feel that it's our responsibility to protect this place. When we look at the history of this place, Don, you and I got a chance to talk earlier, and what's so interesting is we may talk about this, that, and other things, but this is the first time we really talked about some details of our experiences living here. And to know what you told me, I learned from it because you came here before me, but it was similar to what I already understood. Our ecosystems were pristine. Anna, you were born here. You know, Sharon, you've been here a long time, and as well as you have, Deb. It was crystal clear when I got here in the 80s. I can't see the bottom of a canal anywhere, any time of year. You walk out here to this jetty and look down. I invited you before to do it. Please do that. Look down at the rocks on the outside of the jetty. They're all green. There's 3 different types of algae you can see growing there, macroalgae. It doesn't belong there. If you snorkel out in the water, you'll see algae growing up on top of the seagrass. It doesn't belong there. We have a water quality issue. Oil is a water quality issue when you're drilling in the water. All right? More concerning is the degradation of our water over the last 40 to 50 years. And we have this green pea soup now instead of crystal clear water, and it has killed a lot and weakened a lot in our ecosystems, right out to the reef that you see less than 3% coral cover from what was historical. So we want to use this strength to bring attention to our problems, which are the plight of the Keys. We are the canary in the coal mine, laying on the bottom of the cage, gasping for air at this point. We need to save the Keys, folks. We, all of us. This unity gives us a voice. Our state is in unity. And I urge each one of us, and for each one of us to think about this in detail. What can we do to amplify this issue and bring it to a level of exposure? Because we didn't cause this. Two things caused this. The federal government and the state government incentivizing hyper-development across this state, throwing out septic tank permits like they were candy. And every time somebody flushes their toilet in the mainland of Florida, where does it end up? Right here, downstream to everything in the Keys. We need to be adamant. We are the stewards of this place. We need to be determined we're going to change the course of this place. That is what this resolution represents, the unity of our voice. We need to empower everybody. Florida Bay Forever. Oceana will come in and help. Surfrider is here. There are so many groups that we need to empower. The coalition is formally represents governments, not-for-profits, individuals, businesses. We invite everybody to be part of a coalition that wins on this issue, that brings our water quality back and our Keys back the way it's supposed to be. So thank you. This is a celebration. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I beat your time.
Thank you. You did. You beat the time. You gave your 10 seconds to him. There you go. Is there any other public comment, Mark?
Yes, there are. Next up is Sue Miller.
Okay.
Sue Miller, Lower Matacumbe. I'm going to give 2 minutes back. I want to say how important this is to the environment of the Florida Keys, and we always have to remember that the reason that the Florida Keys are special to all of us is because of our environment, and thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Sue.
Okay, next up is Joe Wishmeyer.
It's Joe Wishmeyer, Plantation Key. You know, I want to take you back a ways. I don't know how many of you remember this or not, but before I moved to the Keys full-time, I grew up on the ocean, up in Lauderdale by the sea. And at one time, you'd go walking on the beach and you'd feel this ooze coming up through your toes. And you'd look down, oh God, it's a big pile of oil. There used to be mineral spirits cans all up and down the beach because you had to clean your feet before you could even walk anywhere. Well, that was taken care of. We found out that was actually a lot of the oil tankers that were just cleaning out their tanks. The federal government finally stepped in and got that fixed, which is why I can't believe that they're even considering, as delicate as our ecosystem is down here, even considering opening this up, especially after the disaster that we had. We came so close. I'd never heard of a loop current before the horizon thing. And yet we almost got all that oil coming around and up. So that's how close we came. That's why we have to monitor and stick to our guns about how delicate it is and how to take care of it. I know it's kind of tough when you've got the president and the governor kind of pushing forward to it, but we all need to stick together and stick to our guns. The Bay, we've seen the degradation in the Bay. So this also has to do with the Bay. I wish we'd have taken a little more action on the Alligator Alcatraz because we know there's going to be pollutants coming from that as well. But let's all stick together and do what we can to make sure that we keep big oil out of our waters. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
And next up is Jody Sarah.
Welcome again, Jody.
Thank you again for having me. Jody Sarah with Florida Bay Forever. We all know, and the health of Florida Bay is the health of Island Murata, the health of our community and economy. Our mission at Florida Bay is to restore and protect Florida Bay through education, advocacy, and community engagement. I can go into this. I think that everybody has kind of talked to how important this is. We know offshore drilling is going to end up with oil on our shores. So thank you. I want to comment definitely from what Barry said. This is wonderful to see. Everybody coming together and this voice and the collaborations, this is what protects Florida Bay and protects Islamorada. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next is Captain Ed Davison.
For the record, I am Captain Ed Davidson. I'm going to tell you about lots of stuff I did before I started aggravating you folks. I'm the guy that nominated Lou Key as the first biological marine sanctuary in the country. All we had in the beginning was the Monitor wreck upside down, this first biological. I was accused by the entire commercial fishing community that I really wanted to turn the whole Keys into a national marine sanctuary. I denied that vigorously right up until I succeeded in doing it. Then the Magazine National Fisheries Management Act passed, and because I had been a public advocate for some time and a prominent guy in the diving, scuba diving tourism industry, I got seats on both the Gulf and the South Atlantic National Fisheries Councils, and I got to sit on the board that wrote the reef management plan from the Mexican border to Virginia. It took years, but that's how the Keys was always a pivot point for all this stuff. Lots of people north and south of us for hundreds of miles benefited, but we were the catalyst, the Florida Keys. So talk about canary in the coal mine. When I first got here from Vietnam and went diving in the Florida Keys, the reef fingers were engulfed in thick carpets of staghorn corals as big around as my forearm. Acres of it, huge mats of it. It's now been declared functionally extinct, officially declared functionally extinct. And so has the elkhorn, the Acropora palmata versus cervicornis, both functionally extinct. And there's plenty of evidence all over the world of how pollution from development, the nutrients we're talking about, all the algae and the nutrients that fuel all that stuff, and the polluted water, the algae proliferation of polluted water outcompetes the coral reef. All those mechanisms are filter feeders. And the nutrients fertilize the macroalgae, and that in many locations has overwhelmed the filter feeding. The coral polyps are just little sac with little arms on it, and they feed, and it's a biologic symbiosis between plant and animal. The photosynthetic algae, the good algae that produce energy from sunlight, and the coral polyps, which feed on the fertilizer byproducts of that metabolism. So,
Ed, we'll give you the other 10 seconds like we've done everyone else.
okay. So it's really important that we reclaim our influence as the catalyst for reef restoration, preservation, and restoration, because it's a really disturbing decline in water quality. In 1975, in my logbooks, we averaged 100-foot water clarity.
Ed, let's please be respectful of everyone's time, please.
100-foot water clarity on Lou Key for 3 months in the spring. That's what the water quality used to be like.
Thank you, Ed. Marnie?
There are no other speakers. Thank you.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Just a comment. I'm really pleased to see this resolution come about. I had that experience when the Deepwater Horizon spill was potentially going to affect the Keys. albeit for luck and loop currents, it did not. However, we did have a tar ball wash up in Key West, and that was reported. And tourism went down overnight by 75%, which definitely affected my business and was a very scary time. So I just want to thank Barry Ray for bringing this to our attention and the mayor for sponsoring this, and I would motion to approve.
Thank you very much. I just will say that as a young man growing up in just outside of Galveston Bay, my surfboard stayed black more than it did white. And I remember the Houston Ship Channel at one time being flammable. The first space shop of the Houston Ship Channel looked like somebody took a Marks-a-Lot and drew a line from Houston all the way through to Galveston, and there was not one living organism in the Houston Ship Channel because of what was going on there. And I remember as a kid a celebration when they found the first single-cell living creature in the Houston Ship Channel, and that cannot happen anywhere close to us, and so we need to be cognizant of that. It's so important. So, Deb.
I was going to make a second and also made the comment as I remember the Horizon days, and he's exactly right. Tourism turned overnight.
It did.
It just cannot happen here. We just cannot let it happen.
All right. We got a motion and a second. Marnie, will you call the roll on this one, please?
Okay, and to clarify, that was Councilmember Friedman who made the motion?
It was.
And I've seconded.
Just a second, thank you. All right, Councilmember Steve Friedman.
Yes.
Councilmember Deb Gillis.
Yes.
Councilmember Anna Richards.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sharon Mahoney.
Yes.
And Mayor Don Horton.
Absolutely, yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right. Let's see, we're moving on to another resolution, John.
Yep. Tab 9 is a resolution of the Village Council of Isla Marna Village of Islands, Florida, establishing a charter review committee to provide recommendations to the Village Council regarding the village charter and providing an effective date. This was a resolution following up the direction that we were given at the last meeting to bring back something to establish a charter revision commission. The request, which is included in here, was for there to be a 7-member commission, one member each to be appointed by, or one member to be appointed by each individual council member, and the other 2 members to be appointed by the majority of the council as well. The qualifications that are written into this draft, at least, are that to be eligible, you need to be a resident and elector of the village. There is a built-in deadline of May 31st of this year to get the recommendations to you all as to the council, because you all will need 2 months to, or at least 2 hearings to consider it, because we put ours on by ordinance, so we would need 2 hearings to put any ballot questions on the ballot, and we need to get it to the supervisor of elections by the end of July or maybe the very beginning of August, but we want to make sure we gave you guys enough time, and ideally they get it to you sooner rather than later. It also requires monthly updates so that you all are aware of what is going on. Obviously their meetings are going to be sunshine meetings open to the public, so you all can attend as well, but I wanted to make sure that they give an update to the council so you understand what they're looking at and what their recommendations might be. And it also has an automatic sunset date, so that this will automatically sunset. I think it's, I'll have to look, it was 7 months or once they submit their
Final
draft to the council, whichever one is sooner. So it would automatically sunset by its own terms.
Okay.
So this is here for your consideration. I didn't talk to anyone specifically when drafting this, other than to get the input that you all had given at the last council meeting as to what some elements you might want to see.
Okay. Any comment from council? Sharon?
Right on this one.
You're on.
Trying to figure out how to word this correctly, that the charter is extremely important, as well as our comp plan or our strategic plan. And I spoke last weekend to a couple friends of mine at the University of Florida who are professors in political science about stuff like this. I would like to see us put this first, like we did with Able City, put this first in the hands of a company who does this, who can come back to us with some suggestions. Personally, and I know if I ask this question, I've already told Ron and John the answer I'll get, I don't really know the charter, and I don't think these people we're going to appoint really know the charter. And I think I would like to see this go out to bid to a company to come back to us and give us some suggestions. And at that point, we need to have community involvement. We need to have input from the public. And as far as getting this done by May 31st, I don't see it happening. It needs to go in front of the voters, maybe one question, maybe as many as 10 questions on what the community wants. So I would like to not move this forward, and I'd like to put this out for a company who does this for a living or their profession to come back and give us advice, just like we hired Able City to talk to us on the comp plan. We have the final say, but I think we would be wrong not to listen to outside advice instead of people in this community who are our friends, somebody we know, and who might not be really qualified. So that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Deb? Sorry, Steve?
Yeah, I would just agree with the Vice Mayor. I don't need to repeat everything she said because that's exactly what I was going to say. I think we're on the same page. I would only add that if that is not the desire of this council, that should we pass this resolution tonight, that we not appoint tonight, because I don't feel like there's been adequate notice for the public to apply to see if they're interested in being on this committee, so that we would either postpone that to Thursday or another day. But I wholeheartedly agree. I think that we should hire this out.
Okay, Deb?
I don't think we should hire it out. I think it's very quick to, if we want to make changes, if the citizens think that we should make changes, we need to get it on the November ballot. And the legal staff and Ron have backed that up and said that we need that information to council for our June meetings. In order for that to happen, this committee needs time to work. So we need to react pretty quick. I'm kind of in agreement. I'm not sure I want to appoint tonight, but I would like to appoint Thursday night. Only because I'd like to hear who, besides the two names that I saw in emails, is interested, besides the people I talked to, for these two at-large seats. I think our citizens can do this. I think that it hasn't been overly published that we were doing this. I think that we can help the committee going forward and making sure it's very well published of when their meetings are, because that's where they'll be discussing these items. I sat on a review committee years ago, and yeah, I don't think you have to know the comp plan or the charter back and forth in order to sit on the committee. I think you just have to care and understand the subjects and have people that will help you define the subjects if you don't know the subjects. So I like to move forward at least with the resolution tonight and either appoint tonight. I would prefer to appoint Thursday, I think, but.
Okay. I agree with that. I served on 2 charter review committees. The charter is a very concise document, but it's not brain surgery. It is the pulse of the community. I don't think, as a whole, I would say out of the majority of cities throughout the state of Florida, there probably have been very many that is written by anybody other than the community. The meetings, you say that there should be public input. These meetings are going to be open to the public. I do agree with one part of what you had brought up, though, Sharon, is I would like to see somebody that is knowledgeable of how to kick off a charter review committee, and maybe one of your friends that are political scientists can help kick that off. We had in one of ours, we actually had Jim Trice kick that off, and he got us started, and then he basically whiteboarded us at the beginning of the charter as we went through everything, and then we worked through the remainder of that without Jim even being there for the most part. And it was very helpful for us to do that. But the charter, to me, is the charter is a very personal thing. It's not something that somebody outside of our community should write, and it should be something that that we should work on. I think I know that the timeline is tight, but it's doable because we did it before in that timeline, twice before. So I think that what I would like to see on top of that, and I asked the previous manager to change the whole structure of what we were doing is I always thought that we should have, and I mentioned this probably 2 years ago, that we should start off with our strategic plan. We should move from a strategic plan to a charter review, and then from those two, we should move into our comp plan. We skipped that. I think the charter review committee could actually be tasked with doing a strategic plan too, because the strategic plan really isn't all that difficult. And I think if you look at, and you got a copy today, I think all of y'all did, of the counties, it's a 2-page document. It's a vision that's not that difficult to put together. And we basically already had all of those discussions as we talked about the going through our comp plan, and those discussions going through the comp plan. We got a lot of feedback from the public, but I still think that we need to move forward with the charter review because it's long overdue. And I have confidence that the people in this town can do it without hiring a professional that, once again, doesn't know this town. We know this town. The guys that are scientists in some other college don't know this town the way we do. So that's where I'm at.
May I ask a historical question?
Sure.
You or Sharon or Ann, probably, maybe. I was told that in the beginning that there was 4 or 5 meetings to develop the charter. I don't remember those meetings. I was just coming into the village.
You mean at the very beginning, when we first founded the village?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Of the
there was-
charter, not the comp
charter,
plan,
yes.
the charter
Yes.
thing, that there was 4 or 5 public meetings.
Yep.
I think you're verifying that that's about right.
Yes.
I think we can structure the notifications of the meetings that way.
Yep. Anna?
You're done?
Yeah, your mic's not on. Go for it.
Well, I'm kind of agreeing that it's like 2 and 2 here, and I kind of agree with both sides. But I think the most important thing is having the community's input and having the citizens. But I also feel that we could also do it simultaneously with putting it out to maybe some professors or somebody that's not local, and have them review it and come back and bring that to the committee and have both sides collaborate on that. And maybe they won't like any of it, maybe they'll like a lot of it, who knows? And let them all come back to us, but then have the public meetings so everybody can sit here and hear what all sides have to say.
Well, I think they could work in tandem too, and
That's
that's
what I'm
what I had
saying,
mentioned to Sharon.
simultaneously.
I agree with her in one part. We should have somebody help kick that off and guide that. You're welcome.
But
So-
it's very, maybe those guys would be willing to review it themselves, who knows? But it doesn't hurt to ask.
Right. Or work with the committee. Yeah. So is there a motion on the table to approve this resolution?
Is it public comment?
Oh, certainly. Let's do public comment. Thank you, Joe.
Joe
You keep-
Wishmeyer would like to speak.
Keep reminding me. I'm there for you. Marnie, is there any public
Yes,
comment?
Mr. Wishmeyer.
Thank you.
Yes, Joe Wishmeyer, Plantation Key. To remind you all again, the locals are what started this. The locals put this park together. We live here, we know. While I understand why you may want to get some professional opinions or something, nobody knows this community like the locals do. A good example of that was just earlier tonight. We've had lobbyists, not going to dwell on a lot of that, but now we have some locals and nothing but praise for them. It's so nice having the local lobbyists who know what we go through, who know what we have to deal with. I think that we ought to keep this in-house. We started it, we created it. It's been around for 20 years. It may be a little outdated now, but it's certainly worked pretty good for the first 15, 18 years. So I don't see why we can't do it. I heard a word tonight that I haven't heard in a long time, strategic plan. We've been trying to get a strategic plan for a long time.
I have.
And we just keep talking, but we are good at talking and sometimes not so good at actions, which might come into our after-action report too, that we can actually get some of that done. So we do need a strategic plan, but I think that we ought to keep this among our people. I'm hoping that the location, would they meet in this room here so that we have plenty of room and all? And I think in the beginning, maybe we should meet more than once a month.
I agree.
Just because we need to get it kick-started. Maybe after they do that a few times and we start get rolling, then we can cut it down a little bit. But we are going to be running out of time on this. It is a very important thing. A lot of things have changed since we started, so I urge the community. I can't say this enough. There was more people here tonight in the beginning than there had been, and I hope we certainly get a lot more participation. I remember on December's meeting there towards the end with quasi-judicial hearings, it was me and an attorney. And the appellants weren't even here. It was just me and Ty. So I hope we get the community more involved. We need to get more involved in a lot of things, but nothing can be more important than this. It comes right down to as important a decision as creating Founders Park. So let's get the public involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
There's no one else.
No one else?
Yep.
Okay, do I hear?
Can I
Yes,
just get some
Steve?
clarification?
Yes.
Because that idea intrigues me. Do we need to, if we want to go forth with that, can we amend the motion to put out an RFP for another consultant? And then are we tabling the appointment tonight and then moving it to Thursday?
Well, I agree with you that I think it would be nice for us to take the rest. Noticed we had a few more applicants. And I think tonight's meeting projects the word again, so perhaps we can have our appointments on Thursday. I know that most of the people that have applied, except for those that did today, I've already made a phone call to and talked to them about, what their vision was, what their thoughts were, what their concerns were. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I think I've called 4 or 5 different people. So, yeah, I would like to postpone any appointments until probably Thursday, but I'd still like to hear a motion to entertain approving this. And then certainly we could have somebody on top of that consult with us. We can always do that. Deb?
I would like to make a motion, but I'm not, I want to make sure I'm making it in the right form, because what I would like to make the motion of is that we find and I've been trying to dig for the word, like a Jim Trice, to...
Somebody to facilitate.
That's the word, a
Thank
facilitator for our meetings, to help the committee keep it organized and keep it moving, and not to tell them what to do, just to keep it on point for them. But I would like to make a motion to approve this with making appointments on Thursday.
Okay.
And we'll have a liaison
minus the-
from, I'm sorry.
Minus a facilitator plus a liaison from staff, yeah.
Yes. Okay, there's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
That we would, I want to approve it, but I would like to get a facilitator for the committee to use, as well as a staff liaison.
How do we get a facilitator?
Well, how did we get Jim Trice?
I have not a clue. That's why I asked the question.
John, can you help us with this?
Yeah, so first, for the staff liaison, that is built into the resolution, so there's that. So it would be, as I'm hearing it, it would be a motion to approve the resolution, subject to the appointments under Section 3 taking place at our Thursday, January 8th meeting, and directing the manager to retain a facilitator for the actual Charter Review Commission meetings themselves.
Yes. Okay. You good with that, Dan?
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Okay. I think that works. Is there a second on that?
Kind of. I'll go along with all of that, but I also do like the idea of somebody from the outside reviewing it as well. So whether that is somebody that knows somebody that's going to send it to them and have them look at it, or if we're going to have to pay somebody to do that.
Yeah, and that was what I was getting to, the directing the manager to retain a facilitator. I had kind of viewed them as the same person, but you might be looking at them separately. But
Yeah.
either way, I think depending on if somebody be willing to do it for free, then the manager can retain that person or whatnot. If there's a cost, then we may have to bring it back, or if
Right.
it's within the manager's authority, we could just enter into an agreement to do that.
But, Anna,
Go on, Steve.
I was under the impression that you were thinking about a whole separate entity reviewing it independently and then
Yes.
bringing it in and comparing it.
Yes,
Right? Okay.
basically simultaneously having both going at the same time.
Right, yeah, so that's different than a
And the-
facilitator for,
Exactly. Go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be.
You want a
As-
third-party review
In addition to.
in
Yes.
addition to the facilitator?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be, I would say that would be directing the manager to retain a third-party entity to review the recommendations and make their own independent recommendations to council regarding any potential charter changes.
Yes.
Anna, did you want that recommended to the committee or direct to council?
I think it could go to both, honestly. Like,
Well, yeah,
Why
except
not?
there's a tighter time frame for that third party to take it to committee versus taking it to us.
not if the committee is meeting and then they're maybe, because if
They're
it,
overseeing or working with them on it.
yeah, and they're
What-
seeing whatever's happening, they can communicate with them.
So you are wanting them to work together. That's what
Yes,
that's where they're-
simultaneously, but
yeah.
different. This is community and locals working on their own committee, doing their thing, but yet having a totally independent person that's not here in it to review it and then come back and meet and then.
The facilitator I was thinking of was more of just an experienced person to help.
Run a meeting,
Run
to keep
a
it under
meeting, to
control
keep
is
it-
what
Yes,
I
that's
thought you-
where
what you
I
mean as
was
a
going
facilitator.
with that facilitator idea. I have no objection to it, another party outside doing that, or doing a review also. I don't want to tie it up too much with time because of
No,
the
that's what I'm
time
saying,
frame. Yeah.
that this committee could work, but
Yes.
simultaneously, we could still have a third-party review come back, because maybe they're going to think of something that the committee's not going to think of, or vice versa. And, they may like an idea, and somebody may not like an idea, but at least it's given us all different perspectives to
I'm okay with that.
to do.
All right, so you would include that into your motion, direction for staff to retain the third-party entity to review and make recommendations as well?
Yes, yes.
Still
Fast.
on the
Fast.
same time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yesterday.
we're still stuck with the same timeline.
Yesterday.
The election
Yeah.
is when it is,
Yeah.
and we have a deadline to
Because
get everything.
to be
the
able to get it to
supervisor.
the voters, it has to be done by that time.
And
Right.
just a reminder, we also have to get it's a request to the supervisor of elections to put these on the ballot. I mean, usually the supervisor works with
Correct.
us, but I want to just remind everybody that we have to request it from the supervisor of elections, and there's always the chance that the supervisor could say no, but regardless of what we do.
All right, so
They could? Really?
It's a request. You have to request that they put these on the
Oh,
ballot.
otherwise it could be on our dollar.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so does
One quick question?
everybody know my motion? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to have John recap this motion, and maybe that'll help you, but what,
Well, the only question I had was, if you're going to have another review party in there, is that March 31st a drop deadline date that
May.
you suggested
May.
before?
May.
Or May 31st?
Yes.
Or since we already have the facilitator, if it goes a little bit longer, if they have more discussion? I was just,
Unless the council is going to be having special call meetings to do this,
Which
May
we-
31st needs to
which we
be.
may need to do?
Yeah, but I
wouldn't
wouldn't
plan.
recommend having a deadline of May 31st because you guys are going to need time to review this. I mean, we don't know what's going to come back. They may come back and say, we don't recommend anything, or they may come back and say, here's 24 things that we're recommending and we want you to consider.
Yeah.
So I would give yourselves as much time as you can.
Okay. Ron?
Just for clarification, I think my understanding would be looking for two different things. You're looking for a facilitator, like Mr. Trice apparently, but who comes in and gets them started, and just to say, here's the procedure, here's how you're going to do this. It could be somebody local, like a Debbie Mason, somebody like that that's used to doing
Yes.
those kind of local meetings.
Yeah.
On a separate course, my thought would be maybe go to the League of Cities. We're a member of the League of Cities. They do these things all over the state. And maybe have somebody from the league. We have good contacts with the League of Cities.
We do.
We've been to a couple of meetings already. And say to the League of Cities, do you have somebody that does this around the state of Florida? You know, like they do with managers, for example. They come sometimes help us with search committees. I think we trust the League of Cities to do because they look out for our interests. And so rather than going out to a university, whatever, I'm a Gator, obviously, but it's not, I don't want to be picking some university over another one. But I think League of Cities is nonpartisan, non-biased, and that we could just get them to say, do you have somebody that knows charters, has been through this with another city, just to give us an independent look and make sure we're not getting off course. And then, I would trust the League of Cities to do that. If that's the direction you want to do, that'd be, rather than go out for an RFP and getting some consulting firm that charges $20,000, we can get the league to do it for free.
Yep.
To me, that's a better deal.
Perfect.
Let's put them to work. I like it. Okay.
Yep.
So do you want to recap? what
Since you
Deb's
said,
motion is,
what you
just to
said
help
it's so
her?
perfect.
So all of the above.
Yeah, exactly. It was, so it would be a motion to approve the resolution, subject to the appointments under Section 3 taking place at our meeting on Thursday, January 8th. And with two directions to the manager. The first is a direction to the manager to retain a facilitator for the commission, Charter Review Commission meetings. And the second is a directive to the manager to retain a third party to provide a review and recommendations of any charter, potential charter proposals, charter revision proposals.
Right. Everybody's happy. Good deal. There's a motion and
Second?
there's a second. Marnie, will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Deb Gillis?
Yes.
Councilmember Ann Richards?
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Friedman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sharon Mahoney?
Yes.
And Mayor Don Horton.
Yes.
That motion
Thank you all
passes
for a
5-0.
good discussion. That was very helpful. Thank you for your suggestion, Sharon.
Now you guys have homework for appointments.
Everybody's happy. We like that.
So I have a question about the homework for appointments. I did not see the list today. I guess more names were,
Marty updated us actually right at the beginning of the meeting, so.
yeah, so I haven't
So
seen
you want to
that.
update, can you recap the names so far,
So-
Marnie?
But
Yeah, there's an email.
But wait, let me ask this question. If their name's not on there, because I asked a couple of weeks ago if they had to submit a letter or if they, I was trying to get some guidelines for how people apply for this committee. So,
Under the resolution, you can appoint from a list of applicants or from your own personal contacts. So
Okay.
you're not bound just by anybody who formally submitted
Okay.
to the village.
all right, so she's,
So that the person that I'm kind of in the back of my mind has not put in an application because I've already had a discussion with that person about, possibly being on the committee. But still looking at all of these applicants that are coming in and calling most of them.
well, that's what I would have liked to do too.
Yeah, right.
And the people that I had talked to that I was looking at for an applicant, I don't think any of them had put in an application letter
A couple
or
of them have
anything.
an idea, so yeah.
Okay, maybe this
Okay, good.
afternoon. Yeah, I would just like to know that.
I can't tell you who it is, no. Oh. Who's applied so
Who's
far?
applied?
There's an email.
Let me read out to the public if you want me to read them.
Sure.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
What we did in the newsletter was that either send an email to the clerk, and we put the information there, or go ahead and talk individually to you guys. So I'm not sure who you talk to individually, but these are the people who have gone to the clerk. Captain Richard Black, Mark Cockerham, Elizabeth Jolin, Lori Lalonde, Bernie LaPira, Jerry O'Cathy, and Joe Roth. They have submitted to the clerk their interest in it. There's no real formal application. These are the names that have submitted. I think most of you know most of the people on this list. In addition, Councilwoman Gillis mentioned some names that I've shared with some of you as far as showed an interest too, and some of them have contacted you all directly. So I think we have a pretty good pool.
Did you read off Bernie's name?
Yes.
Oh, I missed
Richard
it.
Black, Mark Cockerham, Elizabeth Jolin, Lori Lalonde, Bernie LaPira,
Bernie.
Jerry O'Cathy, and Joe Roth.
Very good.
And so each of you will have one appointment that's your prerogative. Whoever you want to appoint, you can, and then the remaining two will be by the majority vote of the council.
How will that vote go?
It'll be, well, we're gonna have to decide. I mean, do we want to do it? I mean, we don't have to decide tonight. We can think about it between now and Thursday, or we can decide tonight. It can either be done, somebody makes a motion, I'm make a motion to appoint, Jane Doe, and if there's a second, and then we would have a vote, or you all can do it by ballot if you'd like, if there's a limited number. And as a reminder, it would be a written ballot, and you'd have to have your name on it for public records purposes. We can talk about what you all prefer, but there's no one way to do it. Whatever works best for you all on this one.
I was kind of thinking that each of us would submit two and find out if we've got a majority that way, for the two at large.
Yeah, similar to what we did with the.
So write two names
we
down
hired
and see
Ron,
who
right?
overlaps?
Yeah, so we have to know who everybody's appointing before we submit those names, because if Sharon picks somebody as her appointee that I was going to put on my list, I need to find another name. So we can do that at the meeting, but
So we
I
would
would
pick,
suggest-
we would each nominate our personal
one
pick,
person.
which then would narrow that field down possibly of who's going to be on the list.
And then each of us, my suggestion would be each of us pick two, do a ballot on those, and if we have a majority there, then we narrow it down.
Okay.
Do you want to set a deadline before the meeting to submit do you want to submit your 5 at the meeting, or do you want to set a deadline to submit it to the clerk by, say, Thursday at 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., get who you're individually appointing, not the two?
Would council know ahead of time if that deadline is 1 o'clock, would at 2 o'clock I know who Don's appointing?
I would assume, yeah, I mean, if everybody got theirs in
Because
timely,
if he and
then,
I pick the same person as our individual appointees, one of us has got to pick somebody else.
Well, I'll have, maybe just go in with an alternative.
Well, we can do that.
Okay.
Or we can wait until the meeting.
I would say let's wait to the meeting, because I don't want to run the risk of it being a cross sunshine communication or
exactly.
potential for that.
So what's
right.
on second?
Yeah, so we'll just do it at the meeting then.
What's on second?
Just to be clear, what I think I may be hearing is that maybe at the beginning of the meeting, you pick the at-larges first. Each
Yes.
one of you puts in two names, for example. If there's a consensus, let's say there's one person, then you don't have to, then you still have your individual appointment. So you're saying you want the individuals first?
I'll
I just
do
want to
the
make clear.
individual. Absolutely, do the
So you make the 5
individuals
appointments
first.
first.
Individual
And then,
first.
Then whoever didn't get one of those
whatever's
5,
left
then you take
over,
a majority
then we
vote for the
pick
other
the-
two.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Okay.
No, I plan on walking in with 3 or 4 names.
Our planning director wants to weigh in. Look at, he's ready.
Not on this, but I just wanted to indulge you for a couple, when you have a minute.
You want to what?
Just indulge you for a couple minutes when you have a
Okay.
second.
Yeah, go on.
Only if you're done with what you're talking about.
Put the timer on, Marty. I'm just
Well, I just want to go back to the after-action report for a minute,
Yes.
if you don't mind. In our directors meeting today, I think there was a little bit of confusion, not necessarily about the formatting, but about the content and what you wanted to see on that report, whether it be if you're looking for just council-directed actions, or like if Ron asked me to do something, do you want me to put that on there as well? If it wasn't coming from council, do you want things that have already been completed on there so that you can see like actions, so you can say, give us all like attaboys, like those kinds of things. Like I don't know what, like we were confused as to what you wanted to be similar topics as to what was on the previous one, which were specific council directed by a majority or consensus of council members. Is that what you're looking for?
Always needs to be a consensus of council. I
Okay.
think we need to.
We just
speak
wanted
as a
some
body
clarity on that, and that's
for that direction. That's what
Okay.
I think. It needs to come from the body as a whole.
Okay.
And
then when the item's done and closed and we know it's closed, make it go away. I don't want to
And that was
sit
because
there.
before it would stay on,
Yeah,
so we
no.
just wanted some clarity on that.
I don't
as
want to see
well.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, Mr. LaPira would like to speak about the after-action.
Well, you're kind of out of, go on, Bernie. It's early.
I'm not used to being on this
But I'm not doing, but I'm already told I'm not doing this Thursday. There's some ball game that people want to watch or something, so.
When they talked about after-action meeting on Tuesday, I think Don is aware of this, that's what we used to do. And what happened was, at least for me, Charles would, when I wasn't the manager, it was Charles, and he would say, okay, last night, were you all collectively, what came out of that? So he started a list. All I can tell you is that list, when I became manager, got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, you should have gotten things done.
But I couldn't find the building official. I didn't know where he was. No, but all I'm saying is you got to be real careful with action item lists, because they tend to be a beast unto themselves. So maybe limiting the number and get so much, quote, done. Ours wasn't necessarily to get things done. Ours was just to see if all the other employees that were at the meeting heard something that maybe I didn't or Charles didn't hear that the council would want. And then, of course, that would be put on an agenda, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Thank you, Bernie.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved, okay. Thank you so much. Meeting's adjourned.